no, no, I get up, no, 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 I get up, no, no, can't deny it, no, no, I get up, no, 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 I get up.
Alright guys, this is Nkgrafix. Welcome to Learn Photoshop Tutorials. So what I'm going to show you today is how to use Photoshop. Since you are new to Photoshop, so I just want to open your minds to Photoshop and to guide you on how you can use tools in Photoshops and layers in Photoshops to actually create a very awesome designs that will wow your client. Understand? So follow me as I carry on this lesson. Make sure you extract the Photoshop from the folder I included and install it and launch. Just that. Once you launch it, this is what you are going to see on your screen. Now, these are my previous jobs. This is like my workspace, the ones I've done so far, the works I've done so far. So, but this is not what you need right now. What you need to do is to click on create new. Now, when you are creating new, just like you having like a new exercise book and you just want to write something new on it, like you want to write your name first, so you just start by your name and maybe subject and every other thing. So that's the exactly thing you have on Photoshop. So we start by creating new. I want to click, it's supposed to pop out very fast. Okay, this is it. So now, just like I explained about having a notebook, so this is actually how your workspace looks like. So everything you're seeing here is Photoshop. This one is custom size for your designs. Like the calculations you are seeing here, don't let it confuse you. It's very simple. It's simple. So it's just trying to let you know, because everything is calculated in pixels in Photoshop, and like it's actually giving you a kind of a Corel Draw dimension that is with inches, because Corel Draw uses inches and cm, that is centimeters. So this is actually the size you get when you are printing the job. So what you do next is to come to where you see preset details. Now here you're going to type in the project name. For example, let's type in Learn Photoshop. Now that is the project name, Learn Photoshop. Now we will use the width that you are seeing here and also the height. So you can use any width you want to use. You can use, I want to use a social media size poster. So it's going to be 2000 by 2000. Do not be afraid, just practice, play with the numbers, click it, edit it the way you want, and you are going to have it. So this pixels, this is what Photoshop uses, pixels. When we advance, I'll teach you more on pixels. So for now, we're going to use only pixels. All these are features from Corel Draw, but as Photoshop is the mother of all graphic design, so it actually borrows these features from Corel Draws. So but pixels is what Photoshop uses, so we're going to use pixels. And now you see pixels and inch. You use this for the meantime. RGB. Photoshop has, this is Photoshop colors. RGB here means red, green and blue. That is Photoshop primary colors that you basically encounter when you are using Photoshop. So we have to use this. These other colors are borrowed from CorelDRAW because CorelDRAW uses CMYK color. So we are using RGB for that. So you click on RGB. For most users of PC, if your PC is higher, you can actually use 16 bits or 8 bits, but I'm using 8 bits for this tutorial purpose. This 32 bits is for printing. Like if you want to print a set like this, it's not going to actually allow you to save the job as Photoshop. Is save it as something else that you can use for printing large quantity also. So we're using 8 bits for that. So now when you come to background content, you see we have basically two foreground colors. We have white and we have black. So we are going to use white first. That's why you're seeing white. But if you are not okay with the white, if you want to use any color of your choice, you can click on this and you see a color picker pops up, and you're going to choose any color you want, like let's say red. So once you click red, it appears a red. That means your document is going to have a red background. I hope you understand. So once you're done with this, you can click on create. Now let's wait while it loads. Like I told you, see the document has a red background, but we can always change this later. Now when this opens up, the first thing you are seeing at the left panel is called the tool panels. So the first thing you are seeing there is a move tool, which is one of the most used tool in Photoshop because you use it to move objects from one position to another. Like the Photoshop I'm using, we have a on-screen tutorial that will guide you on what each of the tools does. So you see, we are actually using it to move objects around in Photoshop. Good. Now for us to achieve this, for us to move objects like this, we have to actually import a picture. So we will have to import our picture through, we go to file, we go to place embedded, then we can look for a picture we want to use. For example, I want to make use of one Nigerian model or musician, female singer though. So Yemi Alade. So I'll just once you are here, you click on the picture you want and you can click here place. So once you place, the picture enters your document automatically. So all you need to do to get rid of this outline is to check mark it here. But let's stretch it a little bit. So you have to hold your mouse and drag it out like this. You can resize it to any size you want. Drag it. Yeah, like this. Okay. So you can now click OK. As you can see, we have the move tool here. So that is the first tool on this panel. So let's try that. To move this picture to this position, we will have to click on the picture, click and hold, then you move it to anywhere you want to position. Even you want to position here or here. It depends on what you want to achieve. So that's what move tool does. So you move it round, like that. Good. So that is for the move tool. That's for the move tool. Let's enter the next tool. The next tool you're going to have is called rectangular marquee tool. So once you activate this tool, you're going to actually use it to so the marquee tool, we use it to select. It's one of the selection tool in Photoshop. So we're going to use it to actually select a portion of this image. Or I think we should use another image. Okay, let me use another image. So let's hide this first. So let's bring in another image. Don't forget to bring in an image. You have to come to File, Place Embedded. Now let's look for an image outside this, like a background. Or all this background, you see them in the Resource tool. So what I want to do is, colorful background, you see them there. So I will just bring in one of these. For example, this place, and it loads up automatically. And don't forget, we can stretch the way we want. If you hold your Alt key while resizing, it resize, like it centralizes the, I don't know how to explain, like it just make the image to be well resized and aligned at the same time. So let's full the screen like that. Good. Now we want to use Marquee tool to select this picture. So we have to activate it first. For example, if you want to cut out this part, you can just use that Marquee tool and click and drag to where you want. Like this. So we can actually delete this part, delete this part. So you can click delete on your keyboard or Ctrl X. So let's click delete on the keyboard and it's gone. See, that is what the selection does. Cut out a part, and you can also use it to fill in colors and also achieve some special effects, many more. But if you don't want to continue with the steps, you can always go back to the previous steps with Ctrl Z. So once you click Ctrl Z, it goes back. This new Photoshop, if you want to go back like 5 times backward, you just keep clicking Ctrl X, keeps going like that until you have nothing on the screen. So let's take a look at the next tool, Lasso Tool. So what this tool does is select, like it just make a freehand selection. For example, instead of using pen tool to draw, to make a selection, you can just have this Lasso Tool and you just click and go around the image yourself the way you want it to be. So let's bring in a picture once again. place embedded, models. Okay, let me just bring in a picture. Okay, let me just check this out. I don't know, I just saw these pictures and I love them. They are so beautiful. So I love the pictures. Sorry if it's one of a picture. Sorry, I just need it for tutorials. Maybe I'll pay royalty later. Okay, so I want to use this because it's clay. Yeah, I like it. So don't forget you can resize it like that. Boom. But let's keep it like this. Let's keep it like this. Okay, so I want to use that lasso tool to crop this image out of the background. So we have to zoom in our work. To use a zoom, you have a zoom tool, and you can use Z to activate it on your keyboard. Just click Z on your keyboard and it comes out. So we zoom in, and you can hold Alt to zoom out. Like if you hold Alt, you drag out your mouse, it goes out like that. Good. Now let's use the lasso tool to crop this image. So just as we saw on the on-screen tutorial, you see what is going on. So it's actually using the draw here around. So that's what we're going to do here. You click, you have to be very sharp with the way you use the mouse, and I would recommend you use a mouse for this. So try to get yourself a mouse, a very good mouse, for you to be able to draw, like to use pen to. In fact, a graphic designer, you're supposed to have a mouse. So let's drag. Oh, that was much. Just showing you can use other tools. I personally, I don't use this to crop pictures. It's very stressful and somehow waste time, but no, as a beginner you have to learn it. So I'm taking my time to show you the proper thing to do before the shortcut. So once you reach there, you can rasterize this. I don't want to confuse you. What do I mean by rasterize? Means like making the picture, like let Photoshop accept the picture for editing, because without rasterizing it you can't edit the picture itself. So you have to right click, rasterize. Good. Now we want to take out this background. Don't forget you can use delete on your keyboard, or you use Ctrl X and it goes out. So delete, it takes out the background, and to remove this selection around it, you use Ctrl D and it goes out, and you can zoom out. You see, we have successfully deleted a background from this image. So let's continue. Let's just continue some part. If it's not perfect, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, as a beginner you have to just try. But I've not used this for a long time, so I don't know. I'm not drawing this properly. But you can actually draw your own way. It helps. Delete, it goes out, and every other thing. But we have other ones that you can use to actually remove all this, like quick selection. That is another tool. Quick selection, it just makes a selection by finding and following the edges in an image. So let's do that here. So what we're going to do is, since we've activated, you have to look at this place if it has plus icon or minus. Plus is to add, minus to subtract. You know that in school. So we will now bring in our quick selection tool. We click on this model, just one click, drag to this level, leave it. Now this is the fastest cropping or selection tool in Photoshop. So once we click on select subject, because once this is activated you have to click on select subject. Now what select subject does is this automatically creates a selection from the most prominent objects in the image. So the most prominent object in this image is this model that you are seeing. It's not even the background. So once we click select this, it will select this model automatically. Let's watch. It's taking time. I think there's some error. There's some error. Let's just select. You see, select everything automatically. Then you can actually mark this, but let's not go that far. So let's duplicate this image first. To duplicate this, because we are now duplicating what this, like we are duplicating the selection, like Ctrl J. Once we click Ctrl J, we are only copying the model. So if we should hide the first one, you see we have a model on another new background, a new background entirely. So that's it for quick selection tool. Okay, let's take a look at another tool we have here. We have crop tool. Now what this crop tool does, it trims or expands the edges of an image. For example, we have this document here right now. So once we activate crop tool, we can activate it by clicking C on the keyboard. C, and it comes up. Now we can adjust this, that we can extend this document to be very large or smaller, depends on the size we want. Like this, you can extend it like this. And it loads up, like that. So that is it for the crop tool. Use to just adjust your backgrounds, your document and everything. But the disadvantage is that once you adjust it and enter the image, it cuts out the image. So you have to be careful while cropping your images or documents in Photoshop. So it's simple, but I'm just trying to let you guys understand how these tools works. How the tools works. We have the eyedropper. The eyedropper, I'm going to include it in the tutorial PDF, so you're just going to read it and you get a better understanding. We have spot healing. As you can see, it cleans off marks and blemishes and clothes. Just picks a color from the nearest image or nearest whatever. Picks a color. For example, if I want to remove, let's say this picture is not sharp, let's look for a sharp picture. Okay, and why do I have any picture like that? Okay, I don't have any picture like that. Alright. Man, looking for pictures can be stressful and boring at the same time. Sorry. So let's keep going. I'm not seeing any. Okay. What did I even? I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. Sorry, I think we have that one is including the PDF file, so you have to read the PDF files to time to compile it. Let's leave that one for now. It's in the PDF file. Now, I want to show you the tools that you need most, like the brush tool and the clone stamp, what it does, and every other one. So I want to do that in another tutorial coming up now. So that is the second tutorial, because I did not intend wasting your time talking. So another tutorial that is coming, so just check the next video. Thank you.